mynews.studio.
The world's power grid just flipped. For the first time, renewables have overtaken coal. So, what does this mean for the future of energy?
Today is December 11th, 2025. Let's get straight to it. The numbers are in. In the first half of this year, renewables generated more electricity worldwide than coal. This isn't a projection, it's a fact, based on new global power sector reporting. Solar and wind are leading, especially in China and India. But why did this shift happen now?
This has been years in the making. China pushed hard, using its 14th five-year plan to set strict targets for every province. State-owned banks provided major funding. India moved quickly too, with policy incentives, large capacity auctions, and incentives for solar modules and batteries. Do you see this mainly as a technology story, or is it more about policy?
Technology plays a role, but policies really created the right conditions. Look at China. Binding provincial targets, access to cheap financing, huge grid expansion. In India, the production-linked incentive scheme made it profitable to build solar and battery factories locally. The government set things up, and private companies stepped in. Still, fossil fuels remain a big part of the global mix. So, is this a true tipping point, or could it just be a temporary change?
Most experts are calling this a structural turning point. Scaling up renewables is now the global norm, not the exception. But the transition isn't simple. Solar and wind output depends on weather, clouds, wind speed, the time of day. How are grid operators handling that?
Utilities are rethinking their whole approach. They're focused on expanding the grid. The plan is to double the length of transmission and distribution lines by 2050. There's also big investment in energy storage. Batteries, pumped hydro, even programs that shift electricity use to off-peak hours. Market rules are changing too to keep the grid stable. But does this strategy work everywhere?
No, and that's the big hurdle now. Low and middle-income countries only receive around 7% of global clean energy investment. That's a problem for climate goals and economic growth. There's talk about scaling up concessional finance, meaning cheaper loans and grants for these countries. International groups are also encouraging policy reforms and infrastructure investment so these regions aren't left behind. But can the world move quickly enough?
That's the tough question. The positive side is we already have a blueprint. China and India have shown that when governments set clear targets and back them with resources, major changes can follow. The challenge now is making sure the benefits reach everyone, not just the largest markets. Are we prepared for that kind of global cooperation?
There's a lot at stake. Electricity supports everything: industry, healthcare, education. Moving away from coal isn't just about emissions. It's about cleaner air, better health, and economic security. But unless investments reach more places, the global transition will be uneven. Do you think international cooperation can keep up?
It needs to. Otherwise, we face a split energy future, some countries advancing, others left with outdated systems. The transition is happening, but the next phase has to focus on inclusion, not just new technology.
That's our look at today's historic crossover in global electricity. Renewables have moved ahead of coal, thanks to long-term planning in China and India. But now the story is about how the rest of the world catches up.
Thanks for joining us and digging into the details. The energy transition is underway, but questions about fairness, policy, and infrastructure are still on the table.
Thank you for listening. This episode was powered by mynews.studio. Try it now for free.